Hey everybody, so today I wanted to go over 7 different indicators which might tell us whether Bitcoin has bottomed or not. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Let's get into it. First thing that we're going to look at is the fusion indicator. This is an average of the RSI, MFI, MACD, CCI, TSI, RVI, and is decided on the buy-sell signals by the ATR and ADX. Okay, so if we look on the weekly scale, and let's set this to a length of 1, we can see that the only times, actually let's set this back at 3 because that was what I had on before. So the only times that it has been below this about negative 0.75 or negative 0.85 point has been during the bottoms of the bear markets. So back in 2015, right? And then actually passed below -1 in 2019, February 2019, and then again in June of 2022, right? Even though we are practically at the same point now again, it has risen again. Does this mean that it can go down again? Well, we don't know. It all depends on the market. So this is inconclusive, but just based off how it's already jumped up, let's count that as a already has bottomed. So 1 for the has bottomed, and then 0 for the non-bottoms. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one I wanted to look at is the Ichimoku Cloud. Now, for those that don't understand, this is it projects forward into the future, so it's hard to see in the past, especially for the cloud in front and for the cloud in front, where it was at a specific point. So what I'm just going to look at right now is honestly just the conversion line and the baseline. So honestly just get rid of that too. Okay, so let's turn this on to, yeah. So what you will notice on the week scale is that when this 1 week blue line actually gets under the trend, that's a sign that it's bottomed, right? It goes under the trend right here. That was the bottom. It has not yet gone under the trend here, right? It hasn't reversed and it hasn't actually passed through the candle yet. So this is going to be a has not bottomed 1 point for the has not bottomed. So we're 1-to-1 right now. The next thing that we're going to look at is the trend following MA. This is my moving average that I've created. It measures the weight of all the different moving averages in the past. So if you look at the source code, what this indicator does is it basically takes the exponential moving average, all these different things, and takes a weighted average of every single one, and then creates an average based off of that. All right. So if we go back to the previous markets, well, what do you know? The time that it crossed was the almost exact bottom of the 2018 bear market, right? Let's go back to the 2015. Right, it crossed again at the 2015. Okay, and then now let's see what it's already done. Okay, so it crossed right there at June 22nd. So that's another point for the has bottomed. Let's look at RSI pacing now. The weekly scale. Okay, on every um on every turn, it has had this bottom here, right here, it actually flashed green, and right here it flashed green again. So this would also be a has bottomed, point for has bottomed. So we're 3-1, has bottomed, has not bottomed. Next thing I'm going to look at is my indicator, the pendulum series. Right, if we look at previous bear markets, so this measures the average of the volatility compared to the previous volatility over 100 periods. So what we can see is that there have been times when it's been stuck in a channel going down, and it hasn't actually turned yet. So I would mark this one as inconclusive. So I'm not gonna put it in the list of indicators. Um, but there's that one. Let's look at my volatility bands now. Not with a lot. Okay. So what we will notice is that on the June, sorry, the 13th of June, not the 22nd of June, the 13th of June, there was it passed through and then it actually went off on the 11th of June. Oh, the 11th of July. And on all previous times when it's been close to a bear market, you know, the COVID crash right here in December, right here, right here, and right here, right? So it's a pretty good accurate indicator of when it's actually reached a temporary bottom. And to note how this is created, this is just the width of my swing zones indicator added and subtracted from the simple moving average of that period. I think this is 100 length, but we want to actually wait for this to curve because I'm pretty confident to say that there's no chance that it's going to go down to 2,800. But you know, when this curves up, it still could go back down to 14,000 or whatever when this actually starts curving back up again. So I would say that this one is inconclusive as well. It's just hard to tell in this current market what the trend is. The next indicator that I'm going to look at is the moving average ribbon. Not the okay. So we have here the 100 week moving average, the 200 week moving average, and the 300 week moving average. What we will note is that while the 200 week has been, for bear markets, a staple of, hey, if it stabilizes on the 200 week, that's a sign that it's the end of the bear market. Happened in 2015. It happened in 2018, 2019. During the COVID crash, it rested on here before falling down to the 300. And now we're just placed straight smack dab on the 300. So will the 300 hold? Well, let's add the 400 just to see what it could fall to if it breaks, if the 300 does not fail to hold. So the 400 is about at 13,500 right now. And obviously we don't want that to happen based off of the trend um, that's been continuing. It basically used the 100 as resistance right here, and it's gone back down to the 200. So I mean, I'm sorry, it used the I thought I put this in there. Yeah. Yeah, so it used the 200 as resistance right here, then it bounced back down to the 300. So as far as we know, it could just go back down to the 400 right now. So this is a point to watch. It is narrowing its candles right now, so we could see a jump back up, testing the 200 um, moving average, the 200 week moving average. But as of now, that's just that still is a good 15%, 20% move. Actually, let's look at how many percent that is. So from right here where it is now to here is, yeah, it's a 20, 23, 24% move. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for like a short-term play, that might be it, just seeing whether this 300 moving average holds. All right, and so this one is also a bit inconclusive, although I think from this indicator you can tell a lot more about just the general patterns of Bitcoin as it moves. I'm gonna turn back on my TMA, but I'm also gonna change it to its input settings. So this will show all the different weighted moving averages over time. If I change it to 35, it takes a long time to load because it's a lot of math processing. Because the multiple so high. Let's change it to 5. Right. So this is what this does. Um, let's adjust this. See where we want it. We want the edge to be directly on the bottom to brace it. So let's just keep on increasing the multiple until we get there, until there are no candlesticks below it. I think 20 is a good indicator. Yeah, so these things are so long that it's hard to, they start disappearing after a while. There. But it's a good, these have all been near the bottom, and now we're just resting on the bottom again. So as we move forwards in time, will we see this start collapsing inwards and it'll start an upward trend again? We don't know as of now. Let's turn on our fusion indicator one more time. Oh, there's another indicator I wanted to look at, which was the golden pi bands for Bitcoin, golden pi cycles. So this works on the, let's delete this. This works on the 1 day scale. Actually, it works on any sort of scale. Let's go back to week. Right. So whenever the these this greenish band passes through this blue lower band, that has historically been a bottom. And for the tops, whenever this orange line has passed above this red line, that has been a top. We saw it right here. We saw the bottom right here. Again, the top right here. This is, in all intents and purposes, this has been the more technical top based off of this. This might have been just a rally based off of just the extreme hype that was leading onto this. It was just even though this was technically higher, um, in terms of theory, it's been kind of a downward trend since then. So in terms of where the bear market started, I would argue it started right here, but that's just my personal opinion, and that's why I think that if we still have time left in the bear market, and we haven't actually reached a bottom yet, I do think that we're going to reach a bottom soon, regardless of the stuff going on in the world right now. The markets look forwards. They're forward expectation vehicles. Everything is already priced in. So, excluding nuclear war, which might actually be good for Bitcoin, I think that there's a solid chance, within the next half of a year, we actually start seeing an uptrend. But until then, I do think that we're going to be in a sort of cycling pattern down here. I do think that if we fall, we're going to fall back down to whatever that moving average was. So let's just make it. I do think that if we're going to fall back down, we're just going to fall back down to the 400 moving average, which is about 14,000 right now. And that isn't. It may sound like not such a big difference, but you have to remember that 14,000 over our current price. That's a drop of. Can you see that? That's a drop of about one minus the drop of 27%. So I mean that's still a massive dent in your portfolio, but still, if you've been through the top and you've already lost 75% of your capital, and if you're in altcoins, definitely more. I mean, another 27% is not going to be that down to you, especially if you don't have much money left. So just keep in mind this moving average of 300 level right here for the 300 week, and also the 400 week, because we want to see that it captures onto this 300 moving average, right? We want to see it capture onto that, and then it can break through the 200 moving average right here. That's what we want to see with Bitcoin. Okay, so tallying it all up, we have for has bottomed, we have 4. For has not bottomed, we have 1, and inconclusive, we have 3 or 4. So if you count the inconclusives as not bottomed, it hasn't bottomed. If you count them as has bottomed, it definitely has bottomed. And that's why right now it's a toss-up given the geopolitical circumstances in the world right now. So you just want to keep these things in mind when you're buying Bitcoin at this point. But as always, if you like this video, like it, share it, subscribe. I only have 14 subscribers right now, so I would appreciate it very much. Thanks. Have a nice day.